The view of Earth, but not the scarred, apocalyptic wasteland of months past. The planet is healing. The planetary defense formation, Aegis of Terra, pulses faintly beneath the surface, visible only to those with spiritual sight. Lush green spreads across continents once gray with ash. Oceans run clear. The sky holds the soft purple of the post-emergence twilight, but it feels peaceful now, not threatening. Kai's voice is calm and reflective as he speaks. 93 days since I walked out of that mountain. 93 days since I became something more than a survivor. A profound shift, a metamorphosis I still struggle to comprehend. In that time, I've built a world within a world, a sanctuary born from the ashes. I've faced gods from 50 galaxies, beings of immense power and ancient malice, and watched a stone older than reality erase my enemies with a thought, a silent, terrifying display of cosmic authority. And still, I don't understand. What am I becoming? What does the stone want from me? And why do I feel like the real journey hasn't even begun? The Haven settlement. What was once camped on is now a thriving town. Permanent structures of recycled materials and new-grown timber line orderly streets. The garden, now called Sovereign's Mercy, covers 50 acres, its glowing crops feeding thousands. People move with purpose, not panic. Children laugh in newly built playgrounds, artisans ply their trades. Maya walks through the market, nodding to the citizens. 3 months ago, we were hiding in bunkers, scrabbling for scraps, living in constant fear. Now we have farms, schools, a defense force, and trade routes to 3 other survivor enclaves. The Sovereign's formations did this. His garden feeds us. His protection keeps us safe. We owe him everything. Lorenzo walking beside Maya, a tablet in his hand. The other enclaves are asking questions, Maya, persistent questions. They want to know about the mountain god. Some want to send pilgrims, seeking guidance, perhaps even salvation. Some want to send representatives. Diplomats, to a being who could erase them by accident. That's either brave or stupid, Maya said, probably both. But we can't keep him secret forever, Maya. The galaxy knows about him. The other enclaves will find out eventually. Better they hear from us than from other sources. Maya sighs as she speaks. I know. I'll think about it. But first, we need to know if he even wants visitors. The mountain's been quiet since the breakthrough. Kai sits on his crystal throne, but he's not resting. His eyes are closed, his consciousness extended across his realm, feeling every leaf, every creature, every breath of wind. His territory now, encompassing all of Ethelgerd, thrums with his presence. The domain steward's voice is now woven into the very air of the realm. Master, 3 months of consolidation have yielded significant results. Ethelgerd's ecosystem is self-sustaining. The native life forms you created have begun to evolve independently. Your territory remains stable at the 4th minor step of the divine territory realm. Kai opens his eyes asking, and the stone? Dormant. Since the awakening, it has not communicated. Its energy signature is stable but quiescent. It is waiting. Waiting for what? Kai asked the steward. That, Master, is the question I cannot answer. The cosmic infinite Ascension Godstone is beyond my analytical capabilities. It chose you. It empowered you. It saved you, but its purposes remain opaque. A profound enigma. Then I'll wait too, Kai said, but not idly. Steward, what's my next step? I'm at the 4th step of divine territory. The 5th step is within reach, a tangible goal. But beyond that, territory feudal, ascension, the realms the stone erased. I need to understand them. I need to be ready for whatever comes next. Wisdom, the steward said, Master. The path forward requires not just power, but comprehension. The realms beyond divine territory are not about accumulating energy. They are about becoming a law, becoming a concept, becoming necessary. This is Ascension, Year 0, Episode 13. Kai stands at the edge of his citadel, looking out over Ethelgerd. His nascent soul floats beside him, a silent companion. Kai, deep in thought, begins to speak to the steward. Steward, I've been thinking about the future. About what happens after I'm gone, if I'm gone. About the mortals below. Master? The emergence gave people traits. Some chose cultivation paths. Cultivator, key sensitive, martial artist. But they have no guidance, no teachers. No one to show them the way. They're stumbling in the dark, trying to figure out something that took me months of near-death experience to understand. You wish to teach them? Not teach. Provide the opportunity. Create a place where they can learn on their own, at their own pace. With their own risks and rewards. A pocket dimension like this one, but designed for cultivation. With formations that guide, protect, and challenge. With resources they can use. With records of techniques, realms, and paths. A school, a cultivation academy. The steward asked? Exactly, the Academy of Ascension. A place where anyone with a cultivation trait can come and grow. Not under my direct supervision, I can't be everywhere, but under the guidance of formations I create. A legacy. Something that lasts even if I don't. Master, that is perhaps the most profound thing you have considered. Not power for yourself, but opportunity for others. This is worthy of your Tao, then let's build it. Kai raises his hands. The principle of creation activates, but differently than before. This is not wild, uncontrolled genesis. This is architectural, precise, deliberate. A new pocket dimension begins to form adjacent to Ethelgerd, smaller, more contained, but equally real. Within it, a grand hall emerges, a massive chamber of white stone and crystal, with floating holographic displays showing the 9 mortal anchor realms and their requirements. Then a meditation garden begins to form. Labyrinthine paths through forests and meadows designed for quiet contemplation and key gathering. A combat grounds begin to take shape, arenas with adaptive formations that create sparring partners at appropriate power levels. Then a library of paths forms, a repository of cultivation knowledge, copied from the Cosmic Tao Codex and adapted for mortal understanding. The trial spires, 7 towers, each representing a different aspect of cultivation body. Key spirit, will, comprehension, combat, and breakthrough. Each spire contains challenges that grow harder as the cultivator progresses. Kai then creates a fields for harvesting, areas where spirit herbs and tea-rich plants grow, available to those who tend them. And lastly, the seclusion chambers, private spaces for breakthrough attempts, shielded from external interference. Master, this is extraordinary. The formations alone are more complex than anything you've created before. The adaptive challenges, the resource generation, the safety protocols, you've built a self-sustaining ecosystem of cultivation. Kai still concentrating on his creation, as sweat forming on his brow. It has to be self-sustaining. I won't always be here to fix things. The formations need to teach, protect, and judge on their own. Academy of Ascension. Construction progress. 15%, 32%, 58%, 87%, 100%. The final piece clicks into place. The Academy shimmers, stabilizes, and becomes real. At its heart, a massive crystal pulsing with soft light serves as the central control node. Kai is exhausted but is satisfied with his new creation. Done. Now, who gets to use it? The air in the grand, echoing throne room grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy. Deep within Kai's chest, the enigmatic stone began to stir. A faint, ethereal glow emanated from it, a soft whisper of light. Then, the glow intensified, growing brighter until its radiant luminescence filled the vast chamber. Kai, regal yet weary, stood perfectly still. His hand rose to rest over his heart, acknowledging the power stirring within him. A familiar, yet softer, voice resonated directly within his mind. "Host, we must talk." "You're awake." Again, a ripple of amusement passed through Kai's consciousness. "I was never asleep. I was observing. Watching what you would do with the power you earned. You have done well. Better than I hoped." Kai let out a short, disbelieving laugh. "You hoped? You're a consciousness. You don't hope." The cosmic amusement intensified, like distant stars twinkling. "I am not merely a consciousness. I have existed since before the first reality took form. I have watched infinite universes born and die. I have seen beings rise and fall. And in all that time I have never found what I was looking for." Kai's gaze sharpened, a spark of genuine curiosity igniting within him. "Which is?" "A worthy partner, not a vessel, not a tool, a partner. Someone who could carry my power without being consumed by it. Someone who could grow beyond my expectations. Someone who would one day become my equal." The words hung in the luminous air, heavy with implication. Kai felt a jolt, a profound shock that momentarily stole his breath. Your equal? You erased 7 territory-fetal beings with a thought. You're beyond anything I can comprehend." "I am, but I am also tired, lonely. I have existed alone for eternity. I want a friend. A profound silence descended upon the throne room, broken only by the faint rhythmic pulse of the glowing stone. Kai stared at it, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting thoughts and emotions. A friend. You want me to be your friend. I want you to be my heir, my successor, my legacy. I have decided, when you are ready, I will give you everything. All my power. All my knowledge. All my existence. You will become what I once was, a being beyond realms, beyond hierarchies, beyond limitation. The weight of those words pressed down on Kai, a future so vast and incomprehensible it threatened to crush him. Yet, his pragmatic nature demanded answers. And what do you get in return? A pause long and pregnant with unspoken eons. The stone's light flickered, as if the admission itself was a monumental effort. Peace, finally peace. Kai's gaze remained fixed on the stone, his mind racing. Why me? Out of all the beings across all realities, why me? Because you were betrayed and did not become a monster. Because you were given power and used it to protect, not to dominate. Because you faced gods and did not falter. Because you built a garden for mortals when you could have built a throne for yourself. Because you are good, truly good. That is rarer than any power. Emotion flickered across Kai's face, a complex tapestry of pain, weariness, and a profound, almost uncomfortable humility. He scoffed softly. I'm not good, I'm just tired of watching people suffer. I've been on the other side. I know what it's like to be the one bleeding on the ground while the powerful walk away. That is exactly why you are worthy. Now, before I present my choice, there is something you must understand. Something about yourself. Something you have already achieved without knowing. The stone's glow intensifies once more, pulsing with renewed vigor, casting vibrant hues across the throne room. Suddenly, a new voice, crisp and precise, yet imbued with a profound sense of awe, joined the conversation. It was the domain steward, its holographic form shimmering into existence beside Kai, its usual stoic demeanor replaced by an almost reverent wonder. Master, I have just completed a deep analysis of your spiritual signature. There is something I missed before. Something extraordinary. Kai's attention snapped to the domain steward, a jolt of apprehension mixed with curiosity. What? What did you miss? When you underwent the 9 shatterings of the extreme core realm, when you merged with infinity during the 5th shattering, you touched something beyond the anchor realms. You touched the beginning of the non-true realm, the infant infinity realm. A holographic display erupts before Kai, shimmering into existence from the air itself. It shows the familiar 33 anchor realms, depicted as a towering, intricate pillar of interconnected cosmic structures. But then, above them, far above, a new section materializes shimmering, barely visible, like morning mist clinging to the highest peaks, ethereal and indistinct. Non-true realm, infinity, super special. The non-true realm of infinity exists outside the normal hierarchy. It is not achieved through cultivation in the traditional sense. It is touched, experienced, briefly glimpsed during moments of absolute surrender to existence. Most beings live their entire lives, their entire eternities, without ever brushing against it. Kai's mind raced back to that harrowing, transformative moment during the 5th shattering. The pain, the dissolution of self, the overwhelming sense of becoming one with everything and nothing. And I touched it during the 5th shattering? Yes, Master. When you surrendered to the process, when you stopped fighting and became one with the shattering, you merged with infinity. Your consciousness expanded beyond your body, beyond your soul, beyond your core. For a single eternal moment, you were not Kai, you were everything and nothing. A shiver ran down Kai's spine as the memory resurfaced. Vivid and potent, I remember. It felt like dying and being born at the same time. That is exactly what it was. And because of that moment, you have been marked. You have entered the non-true realm, the infant infinity realm. This is not a realm of power. It is a realm of potential. A seed planted in your existence that will, one day, grow into something incomprehensible. The stone consciousness with warmth, almost proud, speaks. The domain steward speaks truth. When I first bonded with you, I sensed it. The infant infinity within you. That is one of the reasons I chose you. You had already done what no other host had done. You touched the realm beyond realms before you were even ready. Kai looked from the shimmering holographic display to the glowing stone, then back to the domain steward. It means, Master, that your ceiling is not the 33rd anchor. It is not even the realms beyond that. Your potential is undefined. The infinity realm is a non-true realm. It does not grant power directly. It grants capacity. The ability to hold more power than should be possible. To learn faster than should be possible. To transcend limits that should be absolute. Non-true realm, infinity realm achieved. Super special realm has no minor steps. The true infinity realm, the one that exists above all anchor realms, is infinite. There are no minor steps, no beginning and no end. You could travel through it for eternity and never reach its boundaries, because it has no boundaries. It is the ocean in which all realities swim. But the non-true realm, the infinity, is different. It is the first breath of that infinity. The spark before the flame. You have touched it, and now it dwells within you, growing. When you finally reach the true infinity realm, which will not be for eons, you will have a head start that no other being could possess. Kai's gaze was fixed on the holographic sea of light, his mind struggling to comprehend such vastness. The implications of this revelation were immense, reshaping his understanding of his own existence. How does this relate to your choice? To leaving Earth? The air in the citadel hummed with an ancient, barely contained power, a silent symphony that only Kai, with his newly awakened senses, could truly perceive. He stood before the cosmic infinite Ascension Godstone, his short black hair framing a face that, despite its youth, held a profound weariness. His black open-chested tunic, adorned with gold and silver-white accents, shimmered faintly, reflecting the stone's ethereal glow. Long flowing sashes of black fabric, patterned with delicate gold that shifted like constellations, trailed from his arms, swaying as if caught in a gentle, unseen breeze. A skirt-like garment completed his attire, and behind his head, a glowing, halo-like ornament pulsed softly. Then, the voice, ancient and resonant, filled the space. The axe consciousness begins to speak, saying, "There is a place in the universe, a hidden place where you can cultivate the non-true realm, the infinity. Realm cannot be trained like other realms. But it can be nourished, strengthened, expanded, and the only way to find that place." Kai's brow furrowed slightly, a flicker of recognition in his eyes as he completed the thought. His voice steady, though a hint of awe colored his tone. "That is if you've entered the clarity soul realm and touched the infinity realm." A new voice, calm and respectful, yet firm, joins the mental conversation. The domain steward stood a respectful distance away, his posture attentive. "Exactly, master." The clarity soul allows you to perceive the entrance. The infinity within you serves as the key. Without both conditions, the place simply does not exist. It is hidden behind veils of reality that only those who have seen truth and touched infinity can penetrate. Kai absorbed this, his expression shifting from initial surprise, a slight widening of his eyes, to a slow, dawning understanding. "So you're not just offering to teach me, you're offering to take me to that place." "I am, and there you will begin the real journey. Not the journey through the anchor realms, those are mere steps. The journey through the infinity within you. Every being who has ever touched the infinity realm has gone to that place. It is a convergence. A meeting ground for those who have seen beyond." A shadow of apprehension crossed Kai's face, his gaze sharpening as he pressed for answers. The others who touched it, what happened to them? A long, heavy pause stretched between them, filled with the weight of countless destinies. The stone's glow seemed to dim momentarily, as if in reflection. Some died, some transcended, some became something else. But all of them were changed. For better or worse, they never returned to who they were. The same will be true for you. That is why this choice is so difficult. You will not return from this journey as the same Kai who left. Kai's eyes narrowed, a deep contemplation settling upon him. He remembered fragments, whispers of the stone's past. "You mentioned the infinity realm, the true one. You said you were there once. Before you became a stone." The axe consciousness voice softens, almost wistful as he speaks. "I was. Long ago, before the first universe took breath, I was a being like you. A cultivator. I traversed the anchor realms, step by step, until I reached the divine territory, the territory feudal, the Ascension, and beyond. I traveled through realms that have since been forgotten, through paths that have been erased, and finally, I reached the shores of infinity." Kai leaned forward slightly, captivated, his own journey suddenly feeling infinitesimally small yet profoundly connected. Then Kai speaks, asking, "What was it like?" "Indescribable. The infinity realm is not a place. It is the absence of place, the presence of every possibility. Within it, you can be anything, everything, nothing. I traveled through it for time-lost meaning. I counted my steps, not because I needed to, but because I wanted to understand the scale of what I was experiencing. The stone's glow shows numbers, impossible numbers, flowing across Kai's vision. When I reached the non-true realm, the infant infinity, I began my real journey. I tracked every minor step. I reached 595074, 833, 010, 843, 951, 999. That is how far I progressed in the infant infinity realm before I could break through to the true infinity realm. 595 sextillion, 74 octillion, 833 septillion. You get the idea. It was not a quick journey. Kai stared at the colossal number, his mind struggling to grasp its magnitude. That number? It's absurd. Incomprehensible. Infinity is incomprehensible. Even the infant version. The stone said as he still speaks. But I reached that number. And then I had to go 100 times farther to break through to the true realm. The non-true realm prepares you for the true realm. Every step you take in the infant infinity makes the ascension to true infinity possible. Kai's eyes widened, a fresh wave of disbelief washing over him, quickly followed by a grim understanding of the sheer scale of the task. 100 times farther? That would be the Ag's consciousness, answers Kai. 5950748 330 098 439 519990 minor steps in the non-true realm before I could enter the true infinity realm. And even then, the journey was not over. The true realm is infinite in truth. There is no end. But I had achieved what few have. I had entered the realm of infinity. A profound question, heavy with curiosity and a touch of fear, formed on Kai's lips. And then what happened? How did you become a stone? I made a choice. The same choice I am offering you, but I chose differently. I chose to give up my form, my existence, to become a catalyst for others. I became the cosmic infinite ascension God stone so that others might have a chance to do what I did. So that someone, one day, might go further than I did. To reach the realms beyond infinity. The realms that I could never reach. Kai's breath hitched. Realms beyond infinity? The concept was staggering. Realms beyond infinity? They exist. I have felt their presence. But the path to them is different. You cannot walk it alone. You need a partner, someone who has also touched infinity. Someone who has also walked the non-true realm. Together you might make the journey. Alone, you will never even see the first step. The impossible numbers fade from the air, dissolving into shimmering motes of light. That is why I need you, Kai. Not just as an heir. As a partner. To walk the path I could not walk alone. To reach the destination I could never reach. Together, we might do what I could not do in eons of solitude. Kai's gaze drifted, a wistful expression on his face as he considered the life he might leave behind. And if I refuse? If I stay here? Protect Earth? Never leave? Then you will stay. I will not force you. I will wait. I have waited eternity. I can wait longer. But the threats coming, they will not wait. The ones who felt my awakening, the ones who fled, they will return. Not soon, but eventually. And when they do, you will need to be ready. You will meet the power that only the journey can give you. Kai's jaw tightened, the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. You're saying if I don't go with you, I might not survive what's coming. I'm saying that without the infant infinity within you exercised and expanded, without the knowledge of the hidden place, without the partnership we could build, your chances of surviving the next wave are low. The beings who will come next are not like the ones you faced. They will not test you. They will not observe you. They will simply erase you and everything you protect. Kai looks out from his citadel, through a shimmering dimensional boundary at Earth hanging in space. He sees Haven, tiny from this distance, but thriving, a testament to what he protects. He imagines Maya, probably at this very moment, looking up at the distant mountain. A profound sense of duty and longing washes over him. The place you mentioned, the hidden place where I can cultivate the infant infinity. Where is it? How do I find it? The domain steward stepped forward slightly, his expression solemn. That knowledge is sealed, Master. The Clarity Soul realm allows you to perceive the entrance. The infant infinity within you serves as the key. But the location I cannot tell you until you reach it yourself. That is part of the trial, part of the journey. The place reveals itself only to those who have truly earned the right to find it. The domain steward speaks truth. I can guide you, but I cannot carry you. The path to the hidden place is one you must walk alone. When you are ready, you will find it. And when you do, Kai's gaze met the stone's pulsating light, a spark of destiny igniting within him. I'll become something more. You will become what you were meant to be. Now, my offer stands. You may continue your path alone, growing at your own pace, facing your own challenges, or you may accept my guidance. I will teach you. I will show you the paths others cannot see. I will help you become what you were meant to be. But guidance comes with a price. Kai's jaw tightened, bracing himself for the inevitable. What price? You must leave this world. Not forever, but for a time. The lessons I must teach cannot be learned here. There are places in the universe, ancient places, forgotten places where the truths of existence are written in the fabric of reality. You must go to them. You must learn from them. And you must return stronger. Strong enough to protect everything you love. A long pause stretched, filled with the weight of Kai's decision. He closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them, a quiet determination shining within. The infant infinity within me, the clarity soul to see the path, the stone to guide me. I've been preparing for this journey my whole life. I just didn't know it. That is the nature of destiny. We do not choose the path. We choose to walk it, or not. Kai took a deep breath, the decision made, the path clear. A faint, sad smile touched his lips. I'll walk. I'll go with you. But first, I need to say goodbye. I expected nothing less. You have 3 days to prepare. To say your farewells. To settle your affairs. Then we leave. Maya's office, a testament to Haven's resourceful spirit, was a repurposed shipping container. Maps of the newly terraformed planet adorned one wall, marked with strategic points and burgeoning settlements. At her desk, amidst datapads and half-empty mugs, lay the key of sovereignty. It was a relic of immense power. Usually dormant, but tonight it pulsed with a soft rhythmic glow, a gentle heartbeat against the stark reality of their existence. Maya, a young woman in her early 20s, her face etched with determination, had been reviewing supply manifests. When the key's pulse intensified, a sudden blinding flare of light erupted, bathing the small office in an ethereal glow. What? Maya gasped, pushing back from her desk, her chair scraping loudly. Her heart hammered, a primal fear seizing her. Then, a voice, calm and clear, resonated not from the air but from within her very being, as if the key itself had found a way to speak. It was Kai's voice. Maya, we need to talk. A shimmering distortion in the air coalesced, and before Maya's astonished eyes, a figure began to form. It wasn't a mere hologram, but a manifestation of will, solid enough to cast a faint shadow, to seem utterly real. He wore a black open-chested tunic with intricate gold and silver-white accents, structured golden shoulder armor. Long flowing sashes of black fabric trailed from his arms, covered in delicate gold patterns that shimmered like constellations. Gold chains adorned his arms and a skirt-like garment flowed around his legs. Behind his head, a glowing halo-like ornament pulsed softly. Maya staggered back, her hand flying to her mouth, a gasp caught in her throat. She recovered her composure, bowing her head slightly. Sovereign! This is unexpected, she stammered, her voice barely a whisper, laced with awe and a touch of fear. Kai's expression was serene, yet tinged with profound sadness. I'm sorry for the intrusion, Maya. But I have to tell you something important. I'm leaving. Maya's eyes widened, her brow furrowing in confusion and alarm. Leaving where? For how long? Kai sighed, a sound that seemed to carry the weight of ages. I don't know exactly. The stone has offered to teach me, to guide me. But the lessons can't happen here. I have to go elsewhere, other places. Other dimensions. I don't know how long I'll be gone. His gaze drifted, as if already seeing the vast unknown expanses he was destined to explore. A cold dread seeped into Maya's heart. She clutched the key tighter, her knuckles white. But what about us? What about Haven? What about the planet? Her voice cracked, fear clouding her eyes. The thought of Kai leaving was unbearable. Kai's gaze returned to her, unwavering, filled with deep, abiding trust. The formations will hold, Maya. The key gives you authority over them. You can protect yourselves from most threats. And if something comes that you can't handle, I'll know. I'll come back. I promise. His words were a balm, yet the underlying gravity of his departure remained. Sovereign, Maya pleaded, tears beginning to well in her eyes. We're just mortals. We can't. Kai interrupted her gently, his voice firm but kind. You're not just anything, Maya. You're the reason 3,000 people are alive today. You're the reason Haven exists. You're the reason I had something worth protecting. Trust yourself the way I trust you. A tear escaped Maya's eye, tracing a path down her cheek. When do you leave? She whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Soon, today, Kai replied, his gaze softening. And I've built something new, something that may help. This is the Academy of Ascension, a pocket dimension designed for anyone with a cultivation trait. It contains training grounds, libraries, trials, and resources. Anyone who wishes to walk the path of cultivation can enter and grow. The formations will guide them, protect them, and challenge them appropriately. You built a school for cultivators, a legacy. Something that lasts even if I don't. You have the authority to grant access to those you deem worthy. Use that authority wisely. Not everyone who seeks power should find it. One more thing. The Academy is connected to the planetary formations. If someone within its walls becomes a threat to Haven, to Earth, to themselves, you can restrict their access or even expel them entirely. The key gives you that power. You're trusting me with a lot. You've earned it. Now I need you to gather the people. They deserve to know I'm leaving, and they deserve to know about the Academy. The central square of Haven buzzed with usual morning activity, but a sudden shimmering distortion brought all movement to a halt. Then, Kai's projection materialized, life-sized, calm, and radiating an aura of quiet authority. The crowd gathered rapidly, thousands pressing close. Children hoisted onto shoulders, elders respectfully positioned at the front. A hush fell over the multitude, their faces a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Kai's voice, amplified by the key's power, resonated through the square. People of Haven, I have something to tell you. I'm leaving for a time. The stone that gave me my power has offered to teach me, to guide me, to help me become strong enough to protect you from what's coming. But the lessons can't happen here. I have to go away. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd, followed by murmurs of fear, like a rising tide. Whispers spread quickly. Kai raised a hand, and the murmurs subsided, though the fear in their eyes remained palpable. I know you're scared. I know you're thinking, what if he doesn't come back? Let me tell you something. I came back from death once. I came back from betrayal. I came back from 9 shatterings of my own soul. I will come back from this. But while I'm gone, you have everything you need. As he spoke, Kai gestured with an open hand. Beneath their feet, the intricate patterns of the planetary defense formation pulsed visibly, a soft, reassuring light emanating from the ground. The formations will protect you, he continued, his voice strong and clear. Maya has the key. She will guide you. The garden will feed you. And now, I give you the Academy of Ascension. A place for anyone with a cultivation trait to learn, to grow, to become strong. Not under my watch, but under your own. The formations will teach you. The trials will challenge you. The resources will sustain you. What you make of yourselves is up to you. Maya has the authority to grant access. She will judge who is ready and who is worthy. Trust her judgment as you trust my protection. And remember, power is a tool, not a purpose. Use it to build, to protect, to grow, not to dominate or destroy. And if anything threatens you, I will know. And I will return. This I swear by my Tao, by my core, by my name, I will always come back. The crowd was silent, absorbing his powerful oath. The fear had not vanished entirely, but it was now tempered by a fragile hope. Then, from the front of the crowd, a small, clear child's voice broke the silence. Will you bring us presents? Kai's solemn expression broke into a genuine, surprised laugh, a sound of pure, unburdened joy that echoed through the square. Yes, he chuckled, his eyes twinkling. I'll bring you presents. Things you've never imagined. Stories you won't believe. And when I return, I'll tell you all about where I've been. The dam broke. People laughed, tears streaming down their faces, but these were tears of relief and joy. Maya, standing at the edge of the crowd, watched the scene unfold, tears freely flowing down her cheeks, but a wide, hopeful smile now graced her lips. High on the desolate mountain peak, at the entrance to the ancient imposing structure known as Ethelgerd, Kai stood in his physical form. The wind whipped around him, tugging at his flowing sashes, the golden patterns shimmering under the harsh light. Before him stood Maya, her face still streaked with tears, but her gaze resolute. In her hands, she clutched the key of sovereignty. Its gentle warmth a constant reminder of the immense responsibility now placed upon her. I don't know what to say. Thank you seems inadequate. The words felt hollow, insufficient to express the depth of her gratitude, her sorrow, and her fear. Kai reached out, gently touching her shoulder. Then don't say anything, he replied, his voice soft, yet imbued with ancient wisdom. Just live, build, grow, make me proud to call this world my home. His eyes held a profound longing. I will, Maya promised, her voice firm. We all will. Kai nodded, a faint smile playing on his lips. One more thing. The Academy watched for those who would abuse it. Power attracts the wrong kind of people. If someone becomes a threat, use the key. Restrict them, expel them. Don't hesitate, I understand. And Maya, trust yourself. You're stronger than you know. One more thing, he added, his tone becoming more serious. If someone comes diplomats, pilgrims, whatever, judge them. Don't trust them just because they're not hostile. Use that tactical mind of yours, and if you're not sure, wait. I'll be back before you know it. How will we know when you're back? Maya asked, her gaze searching his, desperate for a sign, a concrete answer. Kai's smile widened, a radiant, reassuring light in the stark mountain landscape. Trust me, he said, you'll know. With a final, lingering look at Maya and the world he was leaving behind, Kai turned. His form moved with ethereal grace. He walked towards the entrance of Ethelgerd. The ancient stone doors, massive and unyielding, began to rumble, slowly sealing behind him. Maya stood alone on the windswept peak, the key warm in her hand, watching the impassive stone face that now hid a god's domain. A silent sentinel guarding the promise of his return. The air in Ethelgerd, the citadel of dawn, hummed with silent anticipation. Kai stood before his throne. Before him, suspended in crystalline air, floated the cosmic infinite Ascension godstone, swirling with galaxies in miniature. Beside him, shimmering with an ethereal glow, stood his nascent soul. This spiritual manifestation spoke with melancholic concern. Kai's nascent soul starts to speak. Are you sure about this, Master? Leaving them? Kai's gaze was fixed on the stone, his expression a complex tapestry of resolve and deep, underlying sadness. No, but I'm sure about what happens if I stay and fail to grow. Worse things are coming, I need to be ready. A deep, resonant voice, ancient and powerful, echoed directly within Kai's mind. It was the GS consciousness. Wise. Now, hold out your hand. With a deep breath, Kai extended his hand, his palm open. The stone, drawn by an invisible tether, drifted gracefully towards him. It settled into his palm, warm and vibrant, pulsing with energy. But this time, it did not merely merge with his physical form. Instead, it began to sink into the core of his being, a profound spiritual fusion. It settled deep within his chest, beating like a second heart. A sharp gasp tore from Kai's lips, a mixture of shock and awe. The sensation was overwhelming, immense. What did you just do? The AGS consciousness responded, its voice now softer, yet still imbued with undeniable authority. I have attached myself to your soul. We are now bound. Where you go, I go. What you learn, I learn. And when you are ready, I will give you everything. Kai's mind reeled. A partnership forged at the deepest level of his existence. A chilling thought then surfaced. And if I die? The AGS consciousness answers Kai. Then I die with you. That is the price of partnership. I am no longer a tool you carry. I am a part of you. Your fate is my fate. Kai stared at the space where the stone had been, now feeling its presence as an intrinsic part of himself. The magnitude of its sacrifice stunned him. You would risk eternal annihilation for me? I have been eternal for long enough. I would rather exist for a moment as your equal than for eternity as your master. Now, enough talk. Our first lesson begins. Without warning, reality itself began to warp and distort around Kai. Ethelgerd stretched and compressed, dissolving into streaks of light and color. The very fabric of space and time seemed to fold in on itself, and in a blink, Kai found himself somewhere else entirely. Kai stood in a place of impossible grandeur, an infinite library that defied all earthly understanding. They were not filled with books, but with crystals, each one pulsing with a soft, internal light, containing untold knowledge. Beings of pure light, their forms shifting like living constellations, moved silently between the towering shelves, tending to the archives. The AGS begins to tell Kai what this place is. This is the crystal library of Zoth. It exists outside normal spacetime. This space contains the knowledge of every civilization that has ever existed in this reality. Your first lesson, learn. Kai, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of it all, could only manage a bewildered question. Learn what? Everything. The history of the 50 galaxies. The rise and fall of empires. The nature of the realms beyond your own. The truth about the emergence that destroyed your world. All of it. You will not leave until you understand. As if on cue, a single crystal, larger and brighter than the rest, detached itself from a nearby shelf and floated gently towards Kai. Its light intensified as it approached, bathing him in a soft, warm glow. Hesitantly, he reached out and touched its smooth, cool surface. In that instant, a torrent of knowledge, vast and ancient, flooded his mind. Millions of years of history, all compressed into a single, blinding moment of understanding. Kai staggered back, his hand flying to his temple, a dizzying sensation washing over him. The sheer volume of information was almost unbearable, yet exhilarating. That's a lot. That was one crystal. There are billions. Begin. Kai closed his eyes, focusing his newly enhanced mind, and began to learn. Time had no meaning here. Kai moves through crystals, absorbing knowledge at rates that would destroy a normal mind. His omniversal understanding expands, processing, categorizing, synthesizing. He learned the true origin of the emergence that destroyed his world, an ancient experiment gone catastrophically wrong. He learned the intricate hierarchy of powers in the 50 galaxies, alliances forged in starlight, enmities born of ancient wars. He understood the delicate balance of power, the forces that maintained order, and those that sought to unravel it. The profound nature of the divine territory realm and beyond. Each realm explained in meticulous detail, revealing their unique laws and inhabitants. The harrowing history of the cosmic infinite Ascension Godstone itself. It had chosen hosts before, powerful beings who sought its aid, but none survived. He paused, the weight of this new knowledge pressing down on him, and addressed the stone, his voice quiet, tinged with apprehension. None survived? You said I was your partner. What happened to the others? The AGS quietly begins to tell Kai why. They were not worthy. They took my power and used it for domination, for destruction, for eternal life. They forgot that power is a means, not an end. And in the end, they were destroyed by their enemies, by their own arrogance, or by me. Kai's eyes widened, a cold dread creeping into his heart. By you? I will not be used as a weapon for evil. If a host proves unworthy, I terminate the partnership. The AGS pauses, then with an aggressive tone says one word, permanently. A flicker of resentment, quickly suppressed, crossed Kai's face. He was being tested, constantly evaluated, so you're watching me, judging me. I am watching you, and so far you have exceeded every expectation. But the true tests have not yet begun. This library is mere preparation. The real trials come later. Kai took a deep breath, the fear replaced by a steely resolve. He had faced death before, and he would face it again. I'm ready, Kai says. Good, because our second lesson begins now. Kai remained seated, the countless crystals continuing their mesmerizing dance. But now, one particular crystal began to glow with an intensity that surpassed all others. He reached out, his hand drawn by an irresistible force, and touched its radiant surface. New knowledge, even more profound, flooded his mind. He learned the names of others who had entered the infant infinity realm. Most were never heard from again, lost to the cosmos. A few, however, became legends beings who transcended the anchor realms entirely, evolving into something beyond categorization. And one became the cosmic infinite Ascension Godstone itself. Kai's gaze, now filled with profound understanding, turned inward, towards the presence of the stone within his soul. Kai speaks to the stone, quietly. You were the first, weren't you? The first to touch infinity and choose to become something else. The AGS speaks softly. I was. And I've waited eons for someone to follow. Not to become what I became, but to go further. To reach the destination I could never reach. That is your destiny, Kai. Not to be my heir. To be my hope. A small, determined smile touched Kai's lips. The weight of expectation was immense, but so was the trust placed in him. I'll try not to disappoint you. The AGS HMP agent says. You never could. 3 months. No word from the mountain, no sign of the sovereign. The formations are stable, the key responds to my commands. And the academy is thriving. We've had 73 applicants for academy access. Maya has approved 42. The rest need more time, more maturity. Power without wisdom is dangerous. The sovereign taught us that we will honor his lesson. The other enclaves are sending representatives. They want to join the sovereign's concord. They want access to the academy. They want protection. Then we negotiate, we set terms, we build alliances. But we never forget who made this possible. We never forget whose shadow we live in. Do you think he's okay, wherever he is? I think he's exactly where he needs to be. And I think when he comes back, he'll be something even more than he was. Something worth waiting for.